Hey guys, I hope you all are doing okay today. It's been a little bit. I took a short pause. I had some things going on. We ended up getting that stomach virus that's been going around, and then I had a family in visiting, and that was super fun and cool and wonderful. I love it whenever my dad comes in and my stepmother. They're so funny. Today I wanted to talk about personal magic. Okay, so I think the best way to do this would be to probably take a walk and talk to you guys in actual quiet. So I got on my Sully footy pajamas and we're going to go for a walk. So I may or may not have to go in after walking all of this way and bringing my things. But I wanted to talk about personal magic, and it is exactly what it sounds like. It is magic that is personal to you as an individual. We all have our own way of doing things, and different things resonate with us. We pick and we choose what we like, and I just brought some items in this great big bag here to show you. Some things that are personal to me, and just small little things that I do use in my magical practice. Okay, so first thing that I grabbed out of my bag was this little tiny makeshift pillowcase. Well, it's actually, I use it as a cloth. My daughter made it for me. Yeah, whatever, it's getting really windy, you guys. May have to move the party, but I'll use this side sometimes, and it reminds me of the stars. And then also let me use my chin. Also have this side here, and this cloth is really special to me because my daughter hand sewn this when she was very young. I mean, you can see that the stitching is really gapped, and she did a wonderful job for just starting out on using a needle. It was special to me because it was made especially for me with love, and I believe that love is the most potent of magics. When I'm using something like this that was made for me by someone I love or care for, I do feel like the magic is it's very much so stronger. Okay, so let's see what the next item is. Hey, something else. These here are dried dandelions. My son, Forrest, has been picking these for me non-stop for like the past 2 years. He's 3.5. And so I have a bunch of dried dandelions in here, and I just keep adding, and I have used them in magics. So this is definitely I feel like a magical boost when I add it to something. I just made some clear quartz oil to use for magical boost and aid to magnify some of my magics. And I did use some of these in it, which made it all that much more powerful, I believe. I'm so sorry if you see me like licking the side of my mouth. I just realized I still have cake on the side of my mouth. Some other things that I have here, I bought some journals recently, and I thought they were so adorable. And I have this one here. And I'm going to start labeling all of those, writing in what they're for. I thought this one would be a really cute one to write in some of my spells. You see the witch there in the center with her wand. This one here, I already wrote a little bit in here, which I'm gonna have to pull from other journals and books and that I've written. But this one here, I thought would be wonderful for scrying, divination, crystal grids, poppets, things like that. I thought that would be perfect for that. And then I have this one here, which I thought would be good for my elixirs, my oils, salves, things like that, recipes. I thought that would be really cool. And then I got this one, and I'm not really quite sure what I'm gonna do with this guy yet, but I love the goblin on there. He's so awesome. And I thought maybe I could do either dream magic or I'm not sure. What do you guys think? I just thought he was really cool. The next thing I have in this little bag that I brought out was, well, I grabbed just a random book off the shelf. And it looks like I brought The Ancient Art of Fairy Magic by DJ Conway. And I do have quite a few of DJ Conway's books. And as you guys know, I love fairies. And I love working with the fae, the elements, light magic. I just feel like by adding little magical things like that into my craft, it also improves my way of life. It's pure magic. It's something, you know, I've always done as a child is I've always had a wonderful imagination, and I used it, and sometimes it would bleed into my waking life. Like I would I remember going to school, and sometimes I would get in trouble for reading in class, and some of my teachers would make me leave books outside of the classroom before I would enter. And you hear the owls? We have two. Maybe you'll hear it in just a second. But I remember I would be so distracted. Doesn't that just sound so magical? And I would just sit there and just stare out the window or at the wall, and I would find myself inside of my own realm that I've created internally inside of my mind. There's a special place I go to when I meditate or sometimes when I dream, and it's my own. And I gotta show you guys what I just found. Little robin feather. Look how cute. Maybe I should bring that back with me. But that's just a part of who I am as a person. I collect things like dragons. I love dragons. I collect unicorns, fairy things. I just always have. I've always felt connected. And I don't mean like I'm going to sprout wings and just fly off, or go find a magical unicorn to ride on, or go on a journey and find an awesome, magnificent old dragon and, ride off into the sunset. What I mean by that is using things like how do I say this? I'm so terrible at speaking sometimes. Like the magic of a unicorn, they're pure. They've always symbolized purity or light. The worthy could only see the unicorns sometimes. And I find that when I'm at a low, or if I'm having a depressive episode, because we all do sometimes have depression, I believe that we do, or anxiety. I look within myself, and one of my spirit guides is a unicorn, and I draw from the unicorn. You know, I bring that light out, and it just sometimes I get carried away in it, because I think the unicorn so strongly is also a symbol of love and loyalty, and the unicorn is just badass. So I do draw from my spirit guides, things like that, like the dragon, if I need to speak my truth or release my inner fire, things that you don't normally do, I guess, daily, like kind of like when you go into shadow work, honoring the darkest parts of ourselves, bring in, you know, the yin and yang balance into life. And I do believe harnessing the power of the dragon, and sometimes using that in my daily life, it does help me grow as a person, as a witch in my practice. It helps me to speak my truth and to stand my ground when it needs to be stood, because as a child too, I did have problems speaking my truth. I was the really quiet child, I guess, especially, you know, in my younger years, like elementary school up into maybe the first year of middle school. I was that quiet, shy girl who kind of let people walk all over her, and I finally found my voice, like, I don't know, maybe 7th grade and on, you know, and it just keeps getting better and better with age. I've noticed at the age of 30, I've probably been a lot more fierce and have said and spoke my truth more in depth, and stood my ground and found my voice, I guess you would say. And I do thank the dragon for that. It's really cool how we find ourselves in the mythical, or the, you know, all those wonderful fairy tale characters that are meant to be something of the imagination, something that's not physical. But I do believe that bringing those characteristics into my daily life, every day, working with them in that way makes them more real to me than some of the fake, silly situations I encounter or see on a daily basis. Bringing those forth into the waking world and coming away from the mask that we put on, that people put on, you know, to, whether it's to impress somebody or almost to be someone you're not. The birds are so cool. And I apologize if you hear that train. It's very, very loud. But there's so much that can be said on that. And let's move on to the next in this bag. We may have to wait a minute. Hey, maybe he's done. Okay, there we go. It's at the end of it, I think. So I also have this here. One of my favorite book series ever. I mean, I guess you all could probably figure that one out. But as far as this affecting my personal magic, or coming into play in my personal magic, I love to read, and like we just discussed, fantasy has always been a big part of who I am. It was an escape whenever I went through a lot of the things I went through in life or growing up, because I had a pretty traumatic, rough childhood, and I needed an escape sometimes. Anyways, like I was saying, I needed an escape sometimes from everyday life and the horrors that you never knew, you know, what was going to happen, our situation, whether we were going to pack up and leave and go on to the next terrible situation. But I find that the escape that books offer from the horrors of some realities. And it's something I have clung to. But J.R.R. Tolkien has been an inspiration to me. He's been someone who has helped me become a little bit more, I guess, of who I am as a person. And the magic that is found in his writing and in these books helps me to embrace the magic that I feel deep inside that I wish that I could express into words as well. But I feel it everywhere. I feel magic in things. I feel it in the spirit of the trees, of the ground, of the forest, of the sky. Just as magically and beautifully as J.R.R. Tolkien had written in books, I feel that so deeply. Let me pull out something else to show you guys, which I did not bring a lighter for this, but this here is a stick that you open up. It's got a little grip on it, but you take this piece off here and you place in one of these sticks here, or like it's basically mugwort, I think, wrapped up really well. I'll show you what the stick looks like, but these are really good for circulation in your body, going over those energy points, almost like acupressure or acupuncture, but like with smoke, warm smoke. So you put, I cut a little bit of this off, maybe half, less than half, and I place it in here, and the smoke comes out of these holes, and I roll them over my energy points. I do not touch my skin because I don't want to burn my skin, but you can feel it. You can feel that blood flow, that chi. You can feel it flow through your body, and it's a practice of self-care and medicine, and it originated in it was Chinese medicine, and it's old. It's really old. And little practices like that that relate a little bit to some of my heritage, I find really just amazing. They draw me in because I love history, but I love learning about others of civilizations, old civilizations, other cultures. And I love to use the tools that they give us and incorporate them into my own magic. So that's the way I use that. Also, we'll grab this. Oh, okay. So this here, I use whenever I need sound therapy, kind of like with singing bowls. I do have singing bowls, and I use those. And this here I find really calming in meditation, like when I'm sitting on my meditation cushion, and I just shake this awesome shaker over and over, and it helps to put you in a trance-like state. Also, it puts me in mind of rain sticks, which I will make one of those eventually. I've planned on that, but these simple things here, oh my gosh, do they help. They help to calm you, to ease the mind. They help put you in that headspace before a ritual, almost like drumming. I love to drum, and I want one of those, so I do want a drum so bad. I do plan on getting one of those. But, okay. And I stuck this in here, and I guess to show that I also enjoy using eggs in my magic. It's cascarilla, and it's eggshells that are ground up. And here I also have some pink Himalayan salt, I think, and I have cinnamon, and this is just a little tiny jar of protective magic, it's a barrier, that the cinnamon creates that fiery barrier so no one can cross. The egg is also, it's like a giant shield of protection, just like it you know, it protects the babies. And I also have the pink Himalayan salt in here, also to create a line of protection. And I carry this blessed powder that I made with me sometimes. I should do it a lot more probably, because you never know when you need things like that. You never know when you could use it. And it's always good to have a little bit of protection, whether it's mentally, not physically, unless you want to throw it at somebody, like in their eyeballs. They're like, whew, I guess you could do that, but but it brings me mental clarity, and it makes me feel more, I guess, grounded. Let's see, what else do we have here? Okay, it looks like we're getting pretty darn close to the end of it, what I brought. And there's so much more, I just didn't want to bring a whole bunch. I got this the other day, actually, at a thrift store, and we used to see these everywhere. I'm sure you guys still see these everywhere. The little leaves that you would find at home or at your grandparents'. I love this so much. It makes me think of elves. I really don't know why, but it made me think of just a golden, bright, beautiful leaf that you would find maybe in Rivendell, or I don't know. But I thought this would be neat to put my crystals on and use it as a charging plate even. And then I'm gonna place these little stones that I brought with me on, these crystals that I brought on this as well, so you can see some of the things that I've picked. So, and I will show you guys. But I have some peacock ore, which is really good for creativity and imagination. It's also really good for protection, just like the peacock's tails, you know, to keep away the evil eye. And then I also have some blue calcite or solistite here, because that right there is one of my favorite crystals ever to use. And I feel like it has so much magic in it. Like, I feel like if I were to be wandering through the forest and come upon an old ancient cave and walk inside, it would be, the walls would be lined, it would be just like a giant geode, and that's where I would see some of the fae or some elves. But it is a beautiful crystal to connect with your guardians, with angels, spirit guides, to embrace your soul as one in unity. And then we have the peacock ore, which, like I said, magic, fantasy. To me, that just is one of the most magical stones that you can use. I brought those, and I keep these crystals, the peacock ore, close to my bedside, because there's so many other crystals and stones that you can use in dream magic, but I find, because I'm someone who clings to fantasy and other realms so much, that people are like, oh my God, you're ridiculous. You're in your 30s and you're obsessed with Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and all these other things. But I feel like it started off as an escape from reality, and it became a big part of who I am. Okay, and the last thing I have in here is my old moving this way too much, and I hope the wind did not affect this video. But I have this old tarot deck. This is a new case, but this is one of my old tarot decks that I use often. It's, I guess I can say that it's not my favorite tarot deck, but it's definitely has the most amount of my energy. It was one that I have used over and over and over again, over and over. So I brought that to show you, because I do love using cards in spell work, like before I do a spell, or before I do a ritual, or just as a daily practice sometimes, drawing a card and using that for my day, or to see how I should move forward with something, or how I should go about a ritual. And then I brought this, I guess accidentally, I may have just stuck that in there thinking it was something else, I don't know. But I had this blank set of deck of cards that I bought forever ago, and I thought that that would be really cool to use to make my own tarot deck or oracle deck. I eventually am. I've got it in this little pouch here, but they're blank front and back. Eventually I'm going to get some paint markers maybe, or Sharpies. I'm not really sure yet which one, but I want to create my own tarot deck, or it may end up being an oracle deck rather than a tarot deck, because I would love to put some cool quotes and stuff from some of my favorite books, like encouraging quotes, like some of the quotes from Lord of the Rings, like Gandalf. He has a lot of wise things that he has said, or like that really cute show, Anne with an E, Anne of Green Gables. Some of the cute little things in there, which if you haven't seen that, I do recommend that. I love that show. That was such a sweet show. But that looks like that's all that I brought. I could have brought so much more to show you guys and explain, I guess, how I use them in my practice and what they mean to me. But I guess we'll stop at that, so this video isn't like outrageously long, which I'm sure it's going to be anyways. But also, those journals that I showed you, journaling is something I've done since I could write, since I could hold a pen. It's a way of expressing myself, and I feel like I pour a lot of my magic into journaling too. There's a lot of times I will do a ritual or a spell and I'll just write. I'll write from my very core, from my soul, and I will put it on paper and I will roll it up, and sometimes I will burn it, sometimes I'll bury it, sometimes I'll just let it run down water, kind of like it's being carried off. And that's another way I use the journals. But I hope this gives you guys some insight on personal magic, or like some ideas on how you use your personal magic that you may not have even have realized, ways that you use it, and how it's individual to you and no one else. And there may be others like you that have things in common, like I'm sure maybe one of the things that I've mentioned or said, I'm sure there's somebody out there who also uses a few of these items, or a couple, or finds magic power in these items. With all that being said and shown, I guess I'm going to journey back home. I'm going to put all this stuff in a bag and journey back. It looks like it's about to rain. The skies are pretty gray now. Thank you guys for sitting with me, and I hope you have a beautiful day and St. Patrick's Day. And if you have a birthday this month, happy birthday. Blessed be, guys.